Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to the channel, the Dunham Camera Club channel. As you all know, tonight is the Straight From Camera competition. So we'll hopefully, well, I won't say hopefully because I know there's some amazing images. So it is going to be a very interesting evening for you all. Right, let's have a look who's with us this evening. Sue was in the auditorium first. Good evening, Sue, Neil, Jill, Caroline got there nice and early tonight. Good evening, Jim. Who else is in? Dane. Good evening, Dane. Hope you enjoyed your little outing on Monday, Dane. I certainly did. It was a good walk, good chat, good to catch up with people again. Who else? Vera. Hi, Vera. Pleased you could get in again this evening. I moved everything up a little bit too fast there and lost everybody. So, who else? Caroline. Seeing Caroline. Alan. Good evening, Alan. Pleased that you're with us again this evening. Yes, I think you're very, very right. I must admit, I'm sat in the office with the door wide open to the elements, and I'm still warm in here, so it's certainly going to be a warm one tomorrow night. So, right, who else have we got? We've got Doreen. Good evening. Oh, good evening to Crispine as well. Good evening to you. Dave and Caroline are in, so we're getting quite a few people in. Grahame H is certainly in the gods this evening. He is a little bit slow on the uptake this evening. Wasn't in the front row anywhere near. Evening, Gail, Ray. Who else? Paul. Good evening, Paul, and Michael Hughes. I think I've said Neil. I'm not sure. Good evening, Neil. And Bob's got in, no doubt, with a drink of something. I've got mine tonight as well, so it's going to be a hard night tonight, I'll tell you. Who else? Jim, Grahame H, Ray. Yeah, we've said hello to everybody. Just had a little spot of rain here in Dunham. Don't know whether you have where you are, but it's certainly warming up. And I must admit, looking outside, it did wet the floor, but now it's totally dry, so that's okay. If Jan's watching up there in Bonnie, Scotland, welcome to you. Possibly is. Michael Hudston's just popped in. He's made it this week, so that's good. Hopefully there's 20 people on now, so I don't know how many people entered the competition, but no doubt it's usually about 20 or so, so possibly you've all got an entry in. So I must admit, this evening you will see as you go through there is some amazing photographs. For a competition like this, straight from camera, and I know I'm just spluttering a little bit, but straight from camera, there's some absolutely amazing pictures. So I'm taking everything what I've got. I'm not sort of judging them on the fact of are they correct, aren't they correct. I'm just taking it that you've all been straightforward and honest, and basically the images are as come out of the camera. Just looking at a comment here. Pop the comments out on one screen and go to full screen to the photos. Yeah, I have I have two screens, Paul, and there's one screen with the images that you see on, and the other screen's got an array of other things opened on it. It does get a little bit crowded at times, so but it certainly works. If you do have a second screen, then you can drag various bits of what you're watching to different screens, so that's good. Right, I'm just going to start the announcements. We've only got a couple. So Wednesday next week, the 12th, and I'll tell you something else about the 12th in a minute. But Wednesday the 12th is our evening out for those who can't make it during the day. If you're going to come early, be at the new car park near the bus station for 7 p.m. and we usually park in the far corner and hang about in the car park for everybody to meet up. So Jim's just said, has GD gone to sleep? Can you all hear me? I hope you can. I've been talking for 5 minutes, so I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. So I can just see another one. Jill Pardo's popped in, one of the newer members. So good evening, Jill. All the Jills. So 7 p.m. in the car park near the bus station, lower deck, in the corner near the way out to the bus station. So if you want to join us later just for a little bit of night photography, then by all means be at the Cornhill for 9 o'clock, and we shall make a walk up to the Cornhill at 9 o'clock, and we shall only be waiting at the Cornhill for 5 minutes or so, so do make sure that you're there. If not, do make sure that you get the telephone number, either myself or Jill, and we'll tell you where we are. So that's that one. Wednesday the 12th. I was going to tell you something else about Wednesday the 12th. There is a and I've forgotten what it is at the moment, but there's a meteor shower on the go. It's building up now, and next Wednesday the 12th is the highlight of the highest amount of meteors during the night, and we're going to be looking at, roughly, they're suggesting around 55 to 60 meteors coming in during the evening on the 12th. So if you fancy staying up into the dark hours and setting your cameras going, then it's a good night for meteors. Right, the next one is the black and white competition entries for the competition that's coming up into your digital folder by the 13th of August. Please don't put them in until after tomorrow night, though, because Jill will be clearing out all of the entries from this competition tomorrow. Bless her, she's always doing something. So she'll be clearing them out tomorrow, and then you'll have clean folders. But don't put anything in until after tomorrow night. But they do need to be in black and white images by the 13th, evening of the 13th. Make sure that you just tweak your black and whites to make them actually black and white. Grey images tend not to win black and white competitions, so do make sure that that you make them a good definition of blacks and whites. the just looking at what else I've got here. Everything else. No, that's about it at the moment. So this evening, let me just catch up with who else is popped in. Peter's popped in. Good evening, Peter. Good evening, Mark. And everybody else I've said hello to. So welcome one and all. So welcome to you all. Right, this evening's competition. I've been through the images already. And what's going to happen this evening is... It's funny, actually, because this is taking us back a little bit to the time when I first started judging. I started judging in about 98. And at that time, it was still slides. So as a judge, you used to get somebody arrive at your house with a box of slides, and you had to go through the slides in advance, and you had to write your comments down and your points, etc. And so it was not blind judging. If it was a print night, you would get a big box of prints. You would get them all lined up around the room, and you would look at all of these prints. You could look at them very closely, and that was the way we did it until about just before 2000. And I was president of the LPA at that time. Excuse me. President of the LPA at that time. And we brought in a rule that we would do what we call blind judging. And that's what the judges do now. They arrive on the night, they've not seen the images, and they have to judge them, and they spot judge them on the night. So it's a little bit more difficult, but everybody agreed to do it. And over the years, that's been the norm since. So this, when I have them in advance, is a little bit different. I can have a look at them. I can check a little bit of detail. I can give them a little bit more time. I don't have to constantly talk all the time to be thinking about the image as I talk about it. I can take a good look at it. So I've prejudged all these images. I've got my list of scores. No comments, because I'm going to comment as I go along. But I've got a total list of scores of the held backs and everything else. So as we go along, what I will do is I'll just be holding the normal ones back, etc., etc. And then once we get to half time, because I know that I've held more than usual back, because I'll tell you, it's been a hard competition to judge. Because I've held more back, what Jill's going to do is at half time, she's going to send me the list through so that I have your names with the scores on, so that, not with the scores on, with the names on, so that I can put a name at the side of my scores, so that I can say whose the images are. It's always hard for Jill to be trying to type, listen to what I'm saying, etc., etc. So she suggested that at half time she sends me the list of names through, so when we get through to the scores of the 18s, 19s and 20s, I can tell you at the time who they are, if the plan goes okay. So we'll wait and see. Just final check on, see who else is popped in. Good evening, Tony. Just Tony's popped in there. So I'm not going to look at the chat and what everybody's putting. I'm sure that if you've got any questions, if you put them in there about the black and white competition, Jill will answer with how many or what you want, etc., etc., what sort of a competition it is. So without further ado, I'm going to get rid of this home screen, and it will get rid of everything, and I shall bring my first image up, and what I'm going to do is just show you a preview of all of the images by doing a slideshow, and then you'll be able to see what the images are. So here's a slideshow. You'll not be able to see the name of the images, so I'll just read them out, hopefully, as we go along. Right, your first one is abundance of poppies. After the rain. At the end of the pier. Atmosphere and clouds on Venus. Battersea rebirth. Beautiful Bentley. Behind bars. Bentley exhaust. Blue still water. Butterfly ousts hoverfly. Chilling out. Christmas in New York. Classic Lincoln. Clematis niobe. Common blue damselfly. Double take. Fairy grotto. Family outing. Flight deck. Fresh leaves. Gannet in flight. Grasshopper. Growing wild. Hearts within a heart. It is all downhill. Juvenile nightingale. Kestrel with mouse. Lilac poppies. Lincolnshire castle. Man-made rock. Marbled white butterfly. Myjas Pueblo. Multiflora rose. Must rush. Nature at its best. One ear of wheat. Peacock on thistle. Playing with light. Southern sunset. Shell with natural light. Sheltering from the wind. Sitting pretty. Star shape. Stone hair. Street art in Hull. Sunset over Banff. Taking in the view. The artist. The fly. The lookout. The place for deserts. Desserts. Valentino Rossi. Willow warbler. And yellowhammer. So that's all of your images. So let me quickly stop those. Whoa. No, stop. So we've got those stopped one or two back. So we'll go back to the original, put it full screen. Just a very quick one. I saw that we had somebody else pop in as we came past. Viv, good evening. Vivian, welcome to you this evening. As you've all just seen by that selection, it's been a hard job. So what I'm going to do is I'm just working out which side to put my piece of paper, because I need to put some marks on it as we go, etc, etc. So off we go. The first one is abundance of poppies. Very nice image, and you've got the coloration of the poppies, the grass, the weeds, etc, etc, the hedgerows, all good colour, but just lacking a viewpoint, you know, something to settle on. If and this evening, because there's not a big large entry, I'm just going to try and help a little bit with the thoughts on what you need to do. I appreciate that in a field of poppies you can't necessarily get a viewpoint, but if you're not going to get a viewpoint, then the viewer's eye is going all over the picture and not settling or not being led through the image. Now on this particular image I've got some dead branches in this area up on the right, and I've got this little bunch of white flowers in among the red here. So consequently it's very difficult to settle and find a viewpoint within the image. After saying all of that though, there's nothing wrong with the image. It's just that it's not as strong with it not having that viewpoint. So abundance of poppies gets 15. The next one is after the rain. Very nice image. I don't know whether you've cropped this one down from a larger image or whether your format was like this. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you've presented the judge, me, with this image, which is very sharp, very nice. I don't know whether you've got a little spray bottle out and put the droplets on the top, but it certainly enhances the image. The foliage is something that you can't do a lot about. It's all in line with the apples, so consequently they are going to be it's all going to be sharp. The areas that are in the background, this top left hand corner here, that's been sent nicely into a diffused coloration. The only thing I may have done to have made it even better was to just try and fill in with some odd leaves just in here. If you'd pulled one or two leaves across before taking the picture, because of course on this competition you can't clone things across, it is straight out of camera, so you've got to think about your image prior to actually taking the picture. So look at the image, look at it through the viewfinder and say to yourself, oh, I could just pull that leaf across there and get rid of that bit, and I could pull that leaf across there and get rid of that bit. So it's a case of thinking about and trying to get your image right at the word go. But nevertheless, after saying all of that, I'm going to keep this one. The next one is at the end of the pier. At the end of the pier. Yep, it certainly is. Now, you probably won't see it from your end, but I did take a very close look at this one, and I thought it instantly grabs you, because whereas I said on the poppies picture you don't have a focal point, in here you do. You get all of these leading lines taking you down to the bottom, and then you get these two bits of red. Now if it had been a normal competition, personally myself, I might have these two little bits here, I might have made those red. So we've got 3 little bits of red because it is something that balances the picture a little bit better. But I've said that, but of course you couldn't do that on this competition because it is straight out of camera. So very well done to the author for getting the pictures. I like the colours. I like the colours in the sea. It's very nice. Your horizon is level. I love this lower part here where it's these rusty old bolts, and up the side here, and everything just leads you down to this bottom end. And for those of you who won't see, I did zoom in and there's a lady stood at the bottom end, so it's not totally clear. There is a lady at the bottom end. And number 3, I'm going to hold back. Right, number 4 is atmosphere and clouds on Venus. Yeah, it certainly gives you this feeling that it's not a planet that we know of, because there's just totally different elements to the picture. Yes, we could say, and some of you probably sat there saying, well, is that a good enough entry for this evening? But it's different. You know, it is something totally different. And someone's had a go and they've put this image in, and it is, I mean, I've not got a picture like this. I've never taken a picture of Venus and tried to get something like this. So well done to the author. I appreciate you couldn't have cropped it down anymore, or else you're going to get lots of noise in this blue area, and it's going to just spoil the image. So well done to the author on having a go on that one and presenting it to us this evening to have a look at. And it is something totally different, so well done on that one. But atmosphere and clouds on Venus gets 15. Oh, let me just go back one because I just pressed the wrong button. Right, the next one is Battersea Rebirth. Yeah, as soon as I looked at that, I mean, it is an iconic building. We do know what the Battersea Power Station looks like, and I didn't know personally that it was being done up, but excuse me, we've got a very nice image here. The verticals are fairly vertical. These are just tending to lean out just a tad this way, I do believe, and this one a tad that way, I believe, but it may just be the lighting, etc., that's showing that. We've got the odd star or so in the sky, and then we look at the building. Possibly just a very little bit overexposed on the main bright areas of the building, and down this bottom end. Very difficult to get it spot on, and I think the author on this occasion has done really well to get the image. Included quite a bit of water in the image, which just has all of these lovely colours in them, so that really works well. The building itself, the rest of it is lit nicely all down the sides, and the cranes, etc., they're all lit very nicely. So all in all, very nice image, and I'm going to keep that one. I must admit that I really could have kept a lot more. I had to be quite ruthless with them and get rid and not keep them, because I mean, it's like this particular image, what a conker, you know, beautiful Bentley, that's what its title is, and it sure is. The author has got the detail in this Bentley amazing, it really is. There's a couple of little points which, had it been, or if you'd been able to, and you can't on this competition, once again, I'm going to say that so that you appreciate what I'm about to say, but if you could have cloned these people out and this bit of car, I appreciate we've got 2 more here, but they're not as distracting as this one because we're looking at this car. This is the car we're looking at. So, but detail back to front, very good. I'm not quite sure what this little piece is. I haven't zoomed in on it to look because I haven't zoomed in on many of them at all. I'm taking the picture at face value as I'm looking at it, and this is a super image, very sharp, and we've got a nice record copy of this Bentley. So beautiful Bentley gets 17. Behind Bars, yeah, well titled, must admit. First thing, well titled. You've seen these poppies, you've got down low to them, and it is working well with the poppies against the sky, so that really works well. Now some people would say, well, why didn't you poke your camera through the wires to get rid of the wires? But then you would have been too close. So all in all, I think the author, whoever, has done a real good job, and you've titled this image spot on. You know, you've emphasized this bit about the bars being in front of the image. So the rest of the image, the buildings in the background either side, not too bothered about them because this is so strong that it works anyway. Maybe what I would have done myself, because you were allowed a crop. So you were allowed a crop. So if you'd cropped down to this bar on the right hand side here and this bar on the left hand side, it would have got rid of a little bit of the building in the background, and that would have brought us right into this centre clump of poppies, and the detail that you've got in there is great. Little bit dark in this bottom corner here, but nevertheless really good. The colours are nice, so well done on that one. I'm not once again, it's another one that may on another competition have been kept, but this evening it is going, and that one, Behind Bars, gets 17. Right, this next one is Bentley Exhaust, and sure enough, we have what it says on the tin, the Bentley Exhaust, and the authors virtually got the mirroring pattern with the mirror effect on the blue of the car. Really excuse me, really nice detail. With sharp, funnily enough, all of these pipes, this pipe and this one, and we're just beginning to lose a little bit of definition on the tops of these two pipes here. So there is just a little bit of loss of sharpness in these two pipes. Don't forget, f-stops and distance is that whatever f-stop you're on, the further away your subject is from you, it will be sharper. It will give you a greater depth of field. The closer it is, so this particular image is a close-up image of these exhaust pipes on this side, and so you're close up, it's a shallower depth of field, so you have to put in a higher f-stop to get the depth of field when you're close up. So just a little tip there. Lovely image, as I say, we're nice and sharp, love the reflections, nice silver pipes, etc. We're cloned in straight to these pipes. Nice image, well seen, well taken. Bentley Exhaust gets 16. Right, this next one is Blue Still Water. Blue Still Water, I'm wondering whether, yes, we've got blue still water, and it is fairly still across the picture, but are you wanting us to look at the water, or are you wanting us to look at the subject, which is the biggest focal point in the image? and that's the mallard. So I'm just wondering whether you've titled it effectively to be correct, because to me the mallard is the is the focal point in the image. So maybe there should have been mallard in, what would we call it, mallard in blue still water, and then I wouldn't have even have mentioned it. So I would have then have gone on to say what a lovely reflection it is because of the still blue water. Detail in the actual bird is absolutely spot on. We've got good detail from back to front, and then we've got a little bit more in front of the bird than we have behind, and we've got this lovely wake from the bird here. So you could in actual fact have made it a bit more letterbox if you wanted. You could have taken a chunk off the bottom, a chunk off the top. That would have been your crop that you're allowed, and it would have really drawn us into the detail of the bird. But still, I must say, very good image, good representation, and it does show the detail and the still water very well. So blue still water, 16. Okay, 16. Right, the next one is butterfly ousts hoverfly. Now, when I first looked at this, I must admit, I saw the flower and I saw the hoverfly, and I thought, wouldn't it have been nice if we could have got the hoverfly going into the flower? And then you look and you think about the title again, and the author has titled it spot on again. You know, butterfly ousts hoverfly. Here's your butterfly. So it's doing the job. The author has chosen to give us a title that really represents the image. The image is sharp. We've got a bit of good detail in this foreground. Falls off a little bit in the background. We've got a little bit of a bright spot there and a bright spot there. When you hold your camera up, don't forget to have a good look around the viewfinder. Don't just look just at the subject. Look around the viewfinder. I appreciate this was a grab shot because we've got the hoverfly going, so you don't have time to do that. But if you're taking a normal picture and there's no elements like this flying out of the picture, then do look around the image and see if there's anything you can change. Bit of yellow up here, etc. But the butterfly house hoverfly, 16. Super image here, chilling out, number 11. Absolutely spot on. I'm just actually wondering whether we are just about on the brink of beginning to get a slight little bit of pixelation coming into the image. In other words, the image has possibly been cropped quite a bit, or it's been sharpened quite a bit to bring detail from top to bottom, from wingtip to wingtip. And if you do that, crop it too much or sharpen it too much, you do begin to get a little bit of pixelation coming in there into the body of the image. But nevertheless, this is a superb image, well caught, well presented. You've cropped it into a square. I say cropped it into a square. Nowadays we can do various crops in camera, so we could have taken it in square to start with, but very good detail throughout, the wings, the body, right down to the very little tail here. So I shall be keeping that one. Christmas in New York. Christmas in New York, yeah, I went, was fortunate enough to go to New York a couple of times with work. It's always better when they're work holidays because they're usually free. Seen these sort of things before. Absolutely lovely colour. the reds against the drab greys of the building and the water, etc. I'm just a little bit thinking that I know I've said it already, but look in your viewfinder before you take the picture. You've just taken this top of this ring off here on this side, and you've taken this ring off in this side. Now, had you kept that one in, maybe you would have had something quite a bit here that you didn't want. But nevertheless, nice image, nice and sharp, some lovely reflections here of the tall buildings in New York. We've got all of the buildings in each one, so it's very nice image, nicely seen, lovely colours. I'm not holding that one back, but I have given it 17. Another car one, a classic Lincoln. When I saw the title Classic Lincoln, I thought, which part of Lincoln's that going to be? No, it's a car. Nothing you can do about the people. At these sort of events, we try to get a good representation of the vehicle that we're looking at. And on this occasion, once again, it may be the same author that took the other car at the car show. And once again, the detail is from the very back corner right across to this side. So very well done to you. Colour representation is very good. Absolutely brilliant record shot of this Lincoln, and very well done for getting it. As I say, I think if you're brave enough, and I'm not a very brave person, but if you're brave enough, just ask people to move. So, you know, just say, excuse me, what a superb car. Could I just take a picture? Would you be kind enough just to just move just out of the picture, please? And most people will do it. If they don't, well, tough. You know, you've got to have what you've got then. But yeah, super image, nice and sharp, very good record shot. And I've lost my line. That one gets 17. Right, Clematis Niobe. I hope I pronounced that right. It instantly hits you. Really close up macro shot. Good depth of field. It falls off in the background, but that's sort of obvious. That's sort of obvious. It's going to at this magnification. Virtually all of this center area is sharp. This is sharp. Does fall off just a little bit on the back side there, but nevertheless I love the deep colour to the center here, and it's a very nice, and it looks like the author's just shone a little bit of light in or something just to brighten that up. So well done to the author, and I'm going to keep that one. Common blue damselfly. Yeah, nice image, great shot, superb, great background, lovely and sharp from top to bottom. There's not a lot more that I can say about that. Would I have done anything different? Not for this competition, because you're not supposed to be doing a lot to it. So any other competition, I would have probably have said get rid of that little bit there, but you weren't supposed to be doing cloning or bits and bobs like that, so there was no major changes supposed to be made. So well done on the image, and I'm keeping that one. Double take. Yeah, we've got the bridge in the park, and we've got this rider going across it. I possibly would have liked to have seen the rider a little bit further back, so there was more room to move into than come from. A little bit dark in these areas on the sides, but nevertheless the light on here is superb, and then we've got the nice reflection in the lower part. Great image. You know, it's been a very difficult competition, and I've had to let some go. This is one of them, and this one gets 16. Fairy Grotto. Yeah, we've got this feeling from the lights of the Fairy Grotto. It gives us that feel. We do jump about between the lights though. You know, we're looking at the lights and we keep jumping around the picture. It's nice to be led in, but we have what we've got, and it would have been difficult to have presented it any way else. Lighting, yeah, you've got great detail in all of here. You've got it lit nicely, and then in this dark area, there is a little bit of detail, but it just darkens off into that corner. Nice image, well presented. Fairy Grotto, 15. Family outing. Yep, here we are. We've got the swans coming down the water and the old little cygnets following behind. Swanlets, cygnets, whatever they are. I do think, unfortunately, that your whites are just a little bit too white on your two main birds here, and as such the whites have blown out. If you could have taken it down a little bit, on your plus and minus, so just take a little bit of minus exposure, and then it would have brought your whites out. If you're taking pictures of white birds, you've got to have some minus exposure. So underexposed by possibly a half, one stop. If the sun's very bright, you might even be right up to 3 stops underexposed to get the detail in the white bird. But the family outing gets 15. The flight deck. Flight deck, lovely image. We've got good detail of all of these instruments. I say good detail. What I mean by that is we've got plenty in the image. The detail side of it, though, I'm not sure. It is dark in the cockpits, etc., etc., and we have got quite a bit of noise in here, and I would have liked to have possibly have seen a little bit more clarity in the image. It's as though it's been taken. I'm not sure. I'm sort of thinking that it may have been a mobile picture. I'm not sure. The format's not well. It could be right for a mobile phone, but nevertheless, I would just have liked to have seen a little bit more detail in the image. So flight deck gets 15. Fresh leaves. Yeah, fresh leaves. I absolutely love this bit of the picture. You've titled it right. You've got everything. The background's lovely. You've got it all nice and into this lovely green in the background, but yet you've got the green of the new leaves to stand out. I don't think, personally, the drops and this branch are helping your image. I wouldn't have done this normally. On a normal image, you couldn't have done it, but I'm just going to show you something that if you'd done a crop, and I'm just going to go in a bit more, if you'd done a crop like that and called it fresh leaves, then that is your stronger image. The only thing is that with cropping in so much, it is deteriorating the good clarity in the leaves. But if you'd taken this picture as that to start with, then I think you would have had an extra point or two for it being there. But this is what we've been presented with, so consequently that's how I'm judging it. As I say, I'm not sure about this, so think about it again. If you ever see it again, just take the actual leaves themselves. So fresh leaves gets 15. Right, number 21, Gannet in flight. Very, very nice image. A little bit noisy. Not too bothered about that, because the bird is nice and sharp. We've got detail under the wing here, and we've got detail from the far wing to the tip of this front wing. Detail in the head and body, etc. Absolutely fine. Full size image, full size frame. So yep, lovely image. You're always going to get these little bits of bokeh from the from the water because of the elements of glass in the lens. So nice image. I'm going to keep that one. Grasshopper, number 22. Yeah, very nice image again. Once again, the authors got down low to get this image, unless it was a very long stem of grass, plant, etc. But nevertheless, well caught, and we've got absolutely superb detail all in the body area here, in the leg, in these legs here, right round here. But then unfortunately we just lose it on this head area, and I appreciate with wildlife you can't always have what you want, but it would have been nice to have had the antennae this side of the leaf, but you can't have it, you know, it's not possible. So very nice image, very nicely sharp, as I say, in this area, all the abdomen, the legs, etc, etc, but we are just losing it on the head. But a very, very nice image. 17. Growing Wild, another one a little bit like the poppies. We've got a few elements to jump about in, but we are jumping about from one clump of this red to the other, so we're jumping backwards and forwards. It is a good leading line, you know, we've got this one here, we're led in and we come to this big clump here. So maybe if you try it again sometime, see something like this, get zoomed into just 3. 3's a good number in a picture, so you could have taken an image like that and got 3 elements in it, and then it would have possibly have been a little bit more pleasing. The grasses do catch your eye quite a bit, the oaty type grasses, and just pull you towards those areas. So Growing Wild gets 16 points. Hearts within a heart. Yep. I did look for a minute to see why we got the hearts within a heart, but yeah, we've got the hearts of the ivy, and then we've got the big heart, of course, on the doorway, wall, whatever it is. Nice image, well seen. You've got your size at the side just about right. It's a little bit wider on this side than that side. We've got lots of little bits to look at. I wonder what was there, a sign. You know, there was something there, there was something here, there was possibly a lock here, and something, you know, you've got lots of elements, and then you've got this black heart here with the ivy coming through it. So very, very nice image. And as I say, some nights this would have been in there with the really top ones, but on this occasion, 17. It is all downhill. Yeah, it is, certainly, isn't it? We've got the waterfall and it's flowing from back to front, so that works really well. Nicely coped with the lighting on the sides down into the bottom here, and we've got great detail throughout all of these rocks, and then just a bit of movement in the water to give that flowing effect. I didn't used to like flowing water, but I do like flowing milky water now, so that really works well. Like the image, and I'm going to hold that one. The juvenile nightingale. Nice image. I'm just wondering whether you've cropped in just a little bit too much on this image for us. That's number 1. We've got a little bit of overexposure on these lighter feathers on this left hand side, so it's blown out on this left hand side. The detail on the bird though, absolutely stunning. You know, we've got some great detail in here, but we have made the image quite noisy with cropping in. You don't have to have an image cropped in as far as this to show the bird. It's good to see it in its own natural habitat, and maybe if you'd left it not cropped in, maybe this is the image you took. Maybe you was lucky enough to get this close. But I think I would have liked to have seen it a little bit further out. So juvenile nightingale, because of this bit being burnt out, and one or two other bits in the picture that can't be helped in this particular competition, 15. Kestrel with mouse. What a good picture. Great picture. I love the... I know I'm saying something that you might think you're looking at the bird, Grahame, not the wood, but look at the detail in this wood. All these little holes and everything, and then we come up into here, and here's the mouse and the bird, and absolutely everything's fine, sharp about it. The author's chosen to put just a little thin white line around it, which is very nice. So very nice image, very sharp, colour absolutely spot on for the bird, so I'll keep that one as well. Lilac poppies, we've got a field of them again. On this particular occasion, we have got an element with the big tree in the background here. So we look at the poppies, we pick up the colours, and then we pick up the final bit, which is this big tree at the back. So I think this one works a little bit better than the other poppies, but the clarity in the image isn't particularly good. It's once again, it gives me that appearance that it may have been taken on a phone, or it may have been taken just at the wrong settings for the image. So I'm just a little bit dubious of the actual sharpness and clarity of the image. So, but nevertheless, nice image, well seen, well taken, and I love the positioning of your tree, absolutely spot on. So lilac poppies, 14. Lincolnshire Castle. Lincolnshire Castle, superb detail. We've got absolutely cracking detail on all of these walls right through, and the author's chosen excuse me the author's chosen to put it straight in the centre, and our eyes go straight to it, and we really don't look at anything else. Yes, we just catch this bit of water, but that doesn't matter. It's just saying where it's sitting. It's sitting on side of a river or something. So yeah, that's cracking. A little bit of blue in the sky. This is a little bit grey, but nevertheless, this is a competition about picture straight from camera. So consequently, that's what we've got. Nice image, going to keep it. Man-made rock. Yeah, if I do remember right, I believe these were the sea defences out on the east coast, and these are great lumps of concrete that they put there years ago for defences to stop boats coming in close. So but I like the positioning of this one, where we've got this lovely reflection in this still water, and then we've just got the other one on the other side. So when I say the other side of the sandbank. So nice image, nice and sharp. Interesting record shot, but possibly not as interesting as some of them this evening. As I say, there's absolutely some stunning images this evening. So man-made rock, 16. Marbled white butterfly. Yeah, absolutely cracker again. Lovely, lovely detail. I'm just thinking that there's a little bit of softness in the top of this wing here, and just a little bit on this antennae here. Very, very good detail though. The background's gone quite soft, so that's quite nice. It is worthy of being kept for this time. Mijas Pueblo, and I've probably said that totally wrong, but apologies to the author. A picture from abroad. Lovely whites. You've managed to keep detail in these whites, so that's really good. We're just a little bit bright up here, but that's very hard. the main body of the picture is here. The blues work very well against the whites. It might have been nice to have seen it as it goes down off the down the street. So just once again, just think what you're taking the picture of and look around, because you've chopped the bottom of the chairs off. You know, that would have been nice to see the bottom of the chairs. So just think about it. The balcony up here, we've got a bit of a balcony. Now, I don't necessarily want much sky in because it's, you know, it's a bit bland. So you could have come under there when you took the picture and kept these chairs in. So my just Pueblo or whatever, 17. The multiflora rose is very nice. We've got some good detail in the petals, etc. I do think that this one is just a little overexposed though on the flowers. A little bit soft on this bottom one. This is the main one, which is the bright one and the one that's most in focus. So I don't mind about the light, because there is quite a bit of light in the bottom. I don't mind that, and you've kept the differential between the grey colour at the back to the brighter colours at the front, so it all works well. So that's going well. The as I say, it's just this overexposure that I'm a little concerned about, but very nice image in itself. If you'd been using this image for a normal competition, I would have just got rid of this bit of brown up here and that little bit in there, and just toned it down a bit. If you could have toned it down a bit with a little bit less exposure, then it might have worked. But multiflora rose, 16. Must rush, very nice image. We've got this just on the takeoff, and it's just on its way across the picture. Because it's got its wings out, the author's left plenty of room for it to move into. Whether we need that amount of space, I'm not sure. Maybe you could have chopped it a little bit somewhere there. But nevertheless, very nice image. Nice natural colours for the bird. If you'd wanted, you could have just put the slider up a little bit on the, excuse me, on the saturation, just to give it a little bit of a punch. But nevertheless, for this competition, very, very nice. I'll keep that one. Nature at its best. Yeah, another nice image. We've got this lovely bee here. We've got the flower, and then the author's taken the image with the amount of light on the white flower and the buds, but let it fall off in the background, so the black or the darker elements of the image work very well against the white. So it's working very, very well. Nice and sharp, top to bottom to the buds, but the leaves are just falling off, so that works really well. I'll keep that one. One ear of wheat. Good full frame image of that one, isn't it? It must be 16:9 ratio, because it's filling me screen, so that's good. I love this image. It's nice, it's great, it's got good definition of the actual head of the plant. We've got the nice green stem, one leaf, and the plant. I'm going to keep that one for later. Peacock on thistle. Yep, nice image. I'm just thinking we're just losing it on this little back corner here and its head. The really, really sharp bit is across this area here. So really good try. Absolutely stunning butterflies, aren't they? And I like the environment it's in. You know, it's in its own environment. When we look at that nightingale shot, this one sits nicely in its environment. We can see where it is. So do think about your environment a little bit and keep it a little bit smaller in the frame. This one, Peacock on Thistle, 17. Playing with light. Yeah, we've got lots of light coming in all the windows, and we let in straight down the bottom here, and we go to sort of virtually infinity, where we're just exiting out that little square at the other end. We've got good detail in the roof, the sides, and all this debris up and down the sides, and then the little bits of light on each one. The little bits of light on one or two of these are just possibly a little bit bright, so maybe if you could have toned that down a little bit, and on these sides then it may just have been a little bit better. If you'd underexposed, maybe just, I don't know, half a stop, it would have given you a vignette more around this dark area, but the rest would have been light enough to carry it. So, but playing with light, 17. We're coming up to time for a break, but I'll do another couple up to 40, and then we can finish the rest off after. Southern sunset, lovely sunset. We've got the beam of sun coming through here and the lovely colours from the sunset here. Yes, all of this has gone into a bit of a blur. There's not a lot of clarity in any of the corner here, but nevertheless we've got a lovely sunset, and the author's sort of given us a little bit of ground and the emphasis on the sunset. Lovely deep colours, so no need to tweak it anymore really. It speaks for itself. Not as strong as some of the others this evening. Couldn't really see anything that I would have done to have changed the image, but if I could see your settings, I would just wonder about why this hasn't got a little bit more detail to it. But I don't look at settings or anything like that. It's the image that's presented in front of me. So Southern sunset, 15. Shell with natural light, number 40. Yep, shell, natural light, nice. It's quite bright on this bit at the back here and this bottom left hand corner, so maybe just a little bit overdone there, but nevertheless the light on the shell is very good and the detail in the shell is great. Is it as strong as some of the other images this evening? For me, not quite so. Looks like an old shell because we've got quite a bit of damage and wear on it, so it's been rolling around the sea a bit, I think. A few little holes in the back there. Maybe a hermit crab would like to find it though. But shell with natural light, 16. Right, I'm going to end it there for the time being. We'll have a 15-minute break. We'll be back for 10 past, and then we'll go on with the last few, and then the ones I've held back. So catch you in a short while.